Abigail Lockwell here, and welcome back to another WIP and Chat. Now, this is part 2 of my crazy extra long WIP and Chat. So, if you're new here, WIP stands for Work in Progress. I'm currently working on Alice Lost, which is by Diamond Art Club. It is a... Where's the size? Where is the size of this thing? Normally it's up there, but where is that? Sorry, I'm gonna have to find a thing that tells me the size. What we're working on. I know it's a large one. Is it all the way down the base? I think it is. Of course it is. It is 70 by 89, and this is a square painting. So, how's your week been? I hope you're all having a really good week. It's Wednesday today, so I'm actually on top of my WIP and Chat. I was actually meant to record this earlier so I could kind of have my 2 WIP and Chats not a week apart, but oh well. Things happen. Work happens, and yeah. So, I guess I should probably get into everything that I didn't get to cover in my last WIP and Chat. Hopefully there won't be a part 3, I hope, because next week is going to be a little bit interesting to record because I am recording a short horror movie, which will probably be like on YouTube, so when it comes out I'll probably pop it on here. But yeah, I basically am doing the short horror film, and I've got to film that, and then on Thursday I am actually looking after my godson Dexter for the day, so that's going to be very, very, very interesting. So yeah, that's basically that. So what should I get into first? So I think we should get into sort of everybody's favourite topic, if you're a returning viewer, which is lovely ID disputes. Now I've got quite a few. So hold on to your hats, because I can tell you if you like ID disputes, these are going to be a little bit juicy for you. So we've had, obviously, like a couple of weeks ago, well, last month really, we had Suicide Squad come out. So obviously, start of the summer holidays in the UK, you know you're going to get ID disputes, and let's just say we were very much prepared. And I mean it, we were very much prepared. It happens every holiday, every time, the schools come out. We know that if there is an age-restricted film, we know that it's going to be busy. And I happen to know that this year, Christmas holidays are definitely going to be busy this year. Because, Spider-Man, the 3rd Spider-Man film is coming out. So I'm very excited for that. So, yeah, right. First one we'll get into actually happened, I think it was the week before the holidays started. I think so, like the week that Suicide Squad came out. So, basically, I have medication. For those of you who do not know, I have borderline personality disorder. So, I am on some medication that, I wouldn't say it sedates me, but it calms all the voices in my head down. Honestly, it can sometimes be. Sorry, I'm just trying to angle this light so that you guys can see what I'm doing. I think that's about right. I'm just trying to see, sorry. So sometimes it can get a little bit loud up there. But yeah, my medication basically, it knocks all the negative voices out. So that basically I haven't got X amount of voices yelling in my head. So yeah, that's fun. That is very fun, and it will be fun. Well, it can be quite fun, but this particular, sorry, I'm just gonna do that. I think that's gonna be better. But yeah, this particular day was not fun. So I'd had to come in earlier because Josh started a couple of hours before me, so in a way it made perfect sense to basically get Josh into work and wait a couple of hours until my shift started. And I was in a massive cross-stitching kit. Then I think I was doing my Pokemon one. I'm pretty sure I was doing my Pokemon one. But yeah, so yeah, I'm currently doing a cross-stitch pattern of all the original 151 Pokemon. If you want to see that on the channel, please let me know. That would be great, because I'm always like, I don't know if you guys want to see that sort of stuff, but yeah, that's basically yeah, if there's anything like you want to see on the channel, let me know, and I can give it a go. The only thing I cannot do, so don't ask me to do it, the only thing I cannot do to save my life is knitting. I cannot knit. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, I was kind of trying to keep as calm as possible, thinking, okay, I haven't got my medication, but it's a hot day, so we should be okay. It should be quite calm. La 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 la. Well, everything was fine. It was kind of getting to, oh, what was it? It was the, I think, I know it was after lunch, after I'd had my lunch. I think it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon off the top of my head. And yeah, I could really start to feel the effects of me not taking my medication. You know, I was starting to punch the floor, I was starting to get quite agitated. And you know, it's like I wasn't agitated at people. It was like, it's just a side effect of when I don't take my medication and I'm at work. I do tend to get incredibly agitated. You know, I tend not to lash out at people, but I tell you what, this customer, well, these 2 customers, I wanted to. I really wanted to. And so, what happened? You know, it was just by the doors. Dad and his kids come up, and it's kind of, when you've been in the job as long as I have, you kind of get a sort of feel of when someone's going to try it on and think that, you know, just because you're tiny, because I am very tiny, I am only 5 foot, they think that you're not going to challenge them. Now, one thing that always happens when kids are trying to sneak into an age-restricted film is they'll come in groups, so that draws attention to them. Do not draw attention to yourself, because we will pick up on it. We will see you and think, right, what are you coming to see? So yeah, we have quite a few of them. They go to like the automated ticket machine. However, the tickets that you get from our tills and the tickets you get from the automated ticket machines print different colour. So the tills, they have red paper, And then the ATM, that has that prints blue ticket. So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, if someone like comes up, and also their parents think that we won't challenge, because sometimes the parents, they will go and pick up the tickets from there, and yeah, and it's kind of, you know, if we see they've got quite a young child and we see them scanning the tickets, you know, they have to come our way anyway, but it's like, okay, are you going for a film that I don't have to challenge for, or are you most likely going for Suicide Squad? It's kind of what, or any age-restricted film, depending what we have. So yeah, like I say, a boy and his dad walks up. Now, one thing I say, if you're trying to sneak into an age-restricted film, I would say do not try it, because let's say if someone serves you the ticket, they will be fined, the cinema will be fined, your parent will be fined, and possibly spend time in jail, and also your local cinema could possibly be shut down. There we go. So, one thing, do not draw attention to yourself. Because, and also make sure you have ID as well. If you are seeing an age-restricted film and you look very young. So, yeah, basically, the boy, he's with his dad. Scan ticket, it's for Suicide Squad. And now the boy, he's hiding behind dad. So that automatically, and I mean it, automatically sends off alarm bells in my head. Right, why are you hiding behind your dad? Do you think your dad's going to be a barrier? You think I'm not going to challenge you just because you hid behind your dad? Wrong. You've just got my attention. So, yeah, that was already let's try and test the lady. So, he showed me the ticket, and I said, oh, yeah, it's fine, you're going to be in this screen. Does your son have ID? And he was like, what? I said, oh, because it is an age-restricted film. Unfortunately, I do need to see valid ID in order for him to see this film. And then you get the classic line, but I'm his dad. Well done. Well done for you. This is what we're all thinking. Well done to you. Well done. Do you think that just because you're his parent, that's gonna let me through? Nope. Parents lie. And we know this. Parents lie. Parents lie. And I was like, yeah, unfortunately, I do need to see some valid photographic ID. So like passport or student card, driver's license, etc. Obviously, you know, 15-year-olds, they do not have driver's licenses. But they can have student cards. There's an app that they can use. Also, what is it? An app they can use. Yeah, just anything that shows that they are of age to be able to see this film. A great one that people like to do is have their birth certificate. That's great and all, but again, it doesn't have a photo of you. But yeah, this guy and his son, he had no ID, and I said, you know, if there's anyone at home that can send a photo of a passport, you know, I'll be able to happily let you in. And he's like, then he's like trying to think. So they stand to the side, and then straight after, I think it was like the granddad and his grandson, but I'm not sure. They tried to get in the same film. And again, I say, can I see some ID? And he's like, what? I said, yeah, because it's an age-restricted film. Unfortunately, it is the law. I do need to see valid proof of ID. And the older gentleman goes, what law? Seriously. Seriously, what law? What? Like, as in a law that I am currently enforcing to make sure that no underage kids sneak into an age-restricted film, to make sure that our cinema doesn't get shut down. Yeah, so I explain, you know, the law that, I explain, it's the law that I'm not allowed to let your son in without ID. And he said, but he hasn't got any ID. What ID is the 15-year-old going to have? And I'm like, passport, student card. Just anything that's got, any valid form of ID that has a photograph on it. And so he was like, I want to speak to your manager. And I'm like, yep, that's fine. Now, bear in mind, the dad and the son that I spoke to, they are still there. And they show me the email of the son's national insurance number. Now, I don't know if this works the same in America as it does in the UK, but the thing is, it's when we get sort of, I don't know if it's like a social security number, that you, our national insurance is like a social security number that you have to put on like your pay. So when you apply for a new job and stuff, that it's on your like pay slips and stuff. But that's what I'd assume it is, but I don't know. So yeah, basically, they show me that. Now it says on the email, because they email them out now, or you get a letter in the post. So when I got mine, I got a card. I actually lost my card, but I have a image from my login from work that will tell me what my thingamajiggy is. Oh yeah. So I didn't get a good view last time, but this is my pen that changes colour. It's one of those ones that, so when you hold it here, like, you know, the heat from your hand changes the colour, and as you can see, it's going pink. So yeah, that is my pen, but anyway. So yeah, my manager, James, he comes out and, you know, he's dealing with the granddad. I'm dealing with the guy who's like who's like trying to argue that the boy's national insurance is ID. It isn't one, it isn't photographic, and two, it says very clearly when you get it through, this is not a valid, this is not classed as a form of ID. And I even recited that to him. But yeah, it's like, while all this is going on, I hadn't even noticed that I had been digging my nails, like, into my skin. I don't self-harm, but when I get stressed, I will dig my nails into my skin. And obviously, when I've got the confrontation of two people that my manager is dealing with, because, yeah, now the other kid's dad's got involved. And like saying, yeah, it doesn't say on your site. And I'm like, yes, it does. And it's like, no, it doesn't. The thing is, people don't look. It does say in our terms and conditions that you do need to have ID. Well, any youngsters need to have ID, because we actually have the power to refuse entry. So yeah, that's that. And I actually, the moment someone got back, I was like, excuse me for a moment. So I go out behind concessions, which is like our food area, and I am beyond pissed. Like, I have no idea how long I sat out there, but it took me a very, very, very long time to calm down. And oh my gosh, I tell you what, when I came home, I have never been so happy to take my medication in my life. Like, oh my gosh, it was just like, and relax. And I actually fell asleep when I got home. So, yeah, that was that. But yeah, no, the next week, oh my god, there was something in the air the next week, because the next week, it was like crazy. There was really something in the air. So, this week I did actually remember to take mycotypin. Yes, that's the name of my antipsychotic. I did remember to take my antipsychotic medication. Whether there was something in that or just something in the air, I do not know. But yeah, something happened, and it was, oh my god, it was just crazy. So, yeah, we'll start, so this all starts off on Tuesday. All kicks off on Tuesday. You know, come into work, la 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 la, you know, nothing's wrong. And, you know, and we have the regular ID dispute. However, this guy that comes up, it's like, you can already tell, you know, he's got that vibe about him that, you know, they're going into an age-restricted film, etc., etc. And also, again, the son hides behind, like, the dad. Or stepdad, as the guy revealed. Well, as the mum revealed, because they tried to get hold of biological dad and get a passport. But that didn't work. So, yeah, it had been very busy. I can't lie, it had been incredibly busy, but that was nobody's fault. It was just everyone wanted to see Suicide Squad, and yeah, it was just so crazy. So he comes to me, scan ticket, Suicide Squad, yep, so you'll be in this screen, does your son have ID? And he was like, what? I said, yeah, because unfortunately it's the law, I need to see ID to let your son in. And he said, are you f***ing joking? Get me your f***ing manager, now! I was like, okay. So I radio for someone, and then he's just going off, he's effing and jeffing saying, none of this would be happening if anyone could do their f***ing job. And he's like just going off and on, and I mean it, honestly, everything's happening at once. Everyone's calling for a team leader, etc., etc. And it's like he's asked me like 3 times if someone's coming, and I'm like, yes, we're very busy. Obviously not in that attitude, because yeah, that would obviously make anyone pissed. And I said, yes, they're on their way. And then it's like, you know, we've probably waited about 5 minutes since he last asked, and he said, get your manager now. And so then I radio. He's still, bear in mind, this guy is still effing and jeffing, and I said, look, I need someone to Dropbox now. I'm having a real issue. Like, you know, I've got a customer, I've got an ID dispute, and this guy is just, yeah, he's just going off. So yeah, my team leader comes out, and he starts having a go at him. one of my colleagues gets back, because I was, like with most of these ID disputes, I'm always by myself, annoyingly. You know, I don't mind being at the Dropbox. I do not mind, you know, the ID disputes. But this guy, I kid you not, this guy was so aggressive that I don't normally say this, but I wanted this guy to hit me or pin me against the wall. He just had that vibe that if, like, say he was going to, you know, he just had that vibe like he was going to hit me. And while he was effing and jeffing at me, there was actually an elderly guy who was going to the same screen. And he said, leave her alone. She's what, a third quarter of your size? She's just doing her job and you're bullying her. And the guy just went, no, what, just f*** off. This doesn't concern you. So, yeah. That was fun. But yeah, he's like going off. He's trying to get sympathy from us. I actually, so when my colleague returned, I was like, excuse me. I went to the staff room and I burst into tears. You know, when the guy was effing and jeffing at me, the moment he shouted at me, because it was like such a shock. You know, I hadn't done anything to him. He was obviously just having a bad day, but I was like, yeah, no. But I just kept it together. Because, yeah, when someone, like, yells at me like that, and if I know I'm going to cry, I will not give them the satisfaction of my tears. That is the last thing I will let them see. Because I can imagine that if I cried in front of this guy, he would be like, oh, you're crying now, oh, why are you working here then? He was that kind of guy. And, yeah, Josh was in the staff room, and I told him what had happened, and he got really, really mad. But, yeah, so, yeah, he goes out, you know, my team leader's trying to deal with it. He's, like I say, he's trying to get sympathy. He's going, oh, you know, my son's best friend died. And it's like, he actually said that. It's crazy. He actually said that his son's best friend had died. And all of us were like, when my team leader told me what he'd said and stuff after, because he gave a lot of people hell. Like, seriously, he gave a lot of people hell. And I mean it, he gave a lot of people hell that day. But, yeah, he was, like, going, oh, my best friend's son died today, la 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 la. My son's best friend died today, la 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 la. And it's like, why would you take him to a cinema then? Why would you take him to watch a film if that had actually happened? Just ask him for myself. Like, seriously, you wouldn't do that. Well, I certainly wouldn't. I'd probably be like wanting to stay at home and be like, yeah, no, I don't want to do anything today if my best friend had died. But no, it was like Josh was going back and he saw the guy and the guy just didn't look at, like, took a quick glance and then just, like, looked away. And he's pretty sure that this guy is the guy that threatened him a couple of years ago. So I think it was when one of the Saw movies came out. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, Josh was working. And yeah, he wouldn't sell a ticket for an 18. And the guy sort of, after they got it all sorted out, came up to him and said, oh, I'm gonna knock you down after work. And he just said, and he just like laughed at the guy and went, all right. Yeah, that's kind of Josh all over. If like you say that you'll do something, Josh will laugh in your face. He will know when you're bluffing. And he will laugh it back in your face. But yeah. So, but no, with this customer, everything could go wrong was going wrong. But no, his family walked out crying. Because Josh saw them and he could tell they were like fake crocodile tears. You know, that sort of thing. So he then slow clapped my TL going, well done, I hope you're so proud of yourself making my family cry. Whereas Ollie's just like, that's the name of my team leader, he just didn't care. But yeah, he was trying to do the refund and stuff and the system wouldn't let him. But what it was because he'd done everything through PayPal. And if you do things through PayPal, you know, especially like tickets, you're going to have to call up customer services and get it resolved that way, basically. But yeah, no, it like the food wouldn't go through or anything. It was like just like, and this is from what I've been told, just everything. It's another team leader had come in and he was trying to figure it out and he's been there for, oh, how long has he been there? Like 13 years? Yeah, the other guy has been there a long time. But yeah, so yeah, he couldn't figure it out, so it's basically they had to refer him on to customer services and he was just like, you know, he was going off at team members while they were trying to sort him out, but yeah, he was just not a nice person. Absolutely horrid. And, you know, I just, like, think, you know, it was just, oh, that was, I would have to say, that was probably one of the most horrible ID disputes that I've ever had. You know, I've had people get gobby with me, but I've never had like someone shout profanities at me. So that was a first. But yeah, after I calmed down and stuff, you know, I was okay. I did go back, but it was like I wasn't gonna go back out until he'd gone, because like I don't want to be working and for him to be like, give him another excuse to go off on me. Because if, let's just say, if I had gone out and he'd still been there and he'd gone off, I would have probably cried in front of him, and then he would have got really like, oh, stop being such a crybaby, la la la. Yeah, he was not a nice person at all. So yeah, and then this is later. So later, you know, again, Suicide Squad. There's a group of kids that come in. They all have ID, bar one, and I think this was like, what was this? This was, yeah, this was still thingy-majiggy. This was still Tuesday, I think. Pretty sure it was. But yeah, and he was like coming out to us saying, oh, you know, I've got my Oyster card and stuff. That's not, we don't accept that as a form of ID. Even if it does have your picture or date of birth on it, it's not recognised as a national form of ID. Which is why we wouldn't be able to accept that. But no, he was like going, oh, come on, I've got this, I've got that, I've got la la la. And it's like, yeah, we can't let you in, unfortunately. So he's like loitering around in the corridor. We're all trying to keep an eye on him. Because, you know, we know this tactic. We know he's going to try and sneak into a screen. It gets busy. It gets busy. And we lose sight of the guy. But us thinking, you know, he's probably This guy has probably, you know, he's finally left, you know, but we weren't sure. So one of my newer colleagues who started like last month, so this would have been while they were still fairly new. I think it was like 2 weeks into their shift or something. But yeah, she goes into a screen and she comes out and she's like, Abiel, I'm pretty sure that boy that we've refused has snuck into a screen. Because it's like, but I couldn't be sure because it was like, it looked like, because there was a tall person in the way and it looked like he was there was somebody trying to hide from us. So I was like, okay, I'll go in. So I went in, I had a rough idea where all the kids were sitting. I didn't say I knew off by heart, but I had a rough idea. Excuse me. Yeah, so they were at the back row and there were like 3 seats, which is obviously where they bought their tickets for. And there were 4 heads at the back. Something doesn't compute here. So yeah, I called James, my manager, and we explained that we thought that there was a guy, you know, he tried to come in, we'd all refused him, he'd been refused to be served at the tills, they'd said no, we'd said no at the doors, and we were pretty sure that this person had snuck into the screen when it was busy, and we lost sight of this person. So yeah, my manager, he goes in, we get the seating plan up, look, and there are definitely, sort of where they're sitting, there are supposed to be 3 people sat there, not 4. So yeah, James goes to the screen, I'm called on the radio, I think he wants me to go into the screen, so I grab our night vision goggles. That's how we can tell if somebody is A, pirating off a film, or B, naughty kids are running around screen hopping and sitting in screens where they're not meant to be. Because believe you me, if you screen hop into in a cinema, we will throw you out. And especially if like there's a parent that thinks, oh yeah, they're not gonna see us, you know, go into the screen after, you know, the film's on. Wrong. I have caught parents trying to sneak kids into age-restricted films that we've said no for, and we've swapped them to a different film. So yeah, it's basically when that happens, you take extra special care. Yeah, I'm just going to take a sip of my drink quickly. Yeah. So yeah, I grabbed the night vision. James, he's outside the screen with the boy that we've all said no to. And he looks at me, he sees the night vision goggles in my hand, and he says, "What's that?" And I go, "Oh, it's night vision camera. This is how we could tell you were in the screen." And he's like, "Oh." And he's like trying to plead with my manager. And he was saying, "Yeah, no, you're trespassing because you haven't, you know, you didn't buy a ticket. You know, my staff said that you couldn't go in because you didn't have ID. So, yeah, you need to leave, basically." Which, you know, so, yeah, he leaves. We rope that entrance off to make sure he's not, if he does sneak back in, he's not going to try again. And yeah, we just basically make everybody aware that this person could possibly try again. So yeah, it's basically keep your eyes peeled, effectively, team. So yeah, everything's going fine. And then later on in the evening, the guy comes back with 2 other girls, and I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. So I radio James, and I'm like, yeah, Mr. Screen Hopper is back, and he's like, okay. So yeah, my manager, he stays in the foyer, just making sure he's not going to try it again. But yeah, they get one of the frozen drinks and they leave. So yeah, that was that was Tuesday. That was Tuesday. Wednesday. You know, everything's fine. Everything's good. You know, it's the evening. You know, everything's hunky dory, and then we get a customer comes up to us, and they has gone up to one of our team, and he's let us know that there are kids on the roof. I'm sorry, say what? So the way, so obviously, you know, that causes concern. And, you know, I'm at the doors, I'm at the drop box, and I'm like, what? And there were 2 people that had seen them, and they were coming past, and they went, yeah, you have got kids on your roof. And I'm just like, what? Oh my god. But yeah, there had been some kids that were outside playing, you know, playing football. You know how people do. Yeah, they were playing football. And so how my cinema works is, you know, when you've got, like, so we've got our main roof that you cannot access because it's so high up. You can't access it unless you go through a fire door, through the projection. I will dismiss a common myth that we still have people in the projector room. No, we do not. They are all the films. They're given to us on a hard drive, and then we pop that hard drive onto a computer, and yeah, and that computer is hooked up to a projector, and that is how we show the films. So we haven't got a person in there anymore, like, operating the film. But yeah, so that's the main bit of our roof. But then where the doors are, there's like a little roof over the top of that. And that must have been obviously where they got to, because if it was the tippity top, they'd have had to have gotten through a key-coded room and a fire door. Which, you know, if they'd managed to figure out that combination, that would have been very impressive. So, yeah. But no, I would assume that they climbed up onto the, like, sort of roof over the top of our doors. Sorry, I just whacked you with my pen. Now, bear in mind, we have no gutters that they could have shimmied up, or any trees near where the bit of the roof that they got up. So, you know, obviously me and my team leader Haley, we were both discussing how they could have done it, and we don't have any cameras. Annoyingly, we do not have cameras on that bit of our site. You know, the cinema company that I work for doesn't have any cameras glued to the outside watching, so if, say, that something like that does happen, we know exactly how they did it. But we were theorising, and the only logical explanation that we could come up with, now bear in mind, these were quite small boys, is that they piggybacked each other. So one got on one's shoulders, another got on another's, and then there was somebody that obviously climbed to the top and grabbed the football. But yeah, it was a bit like, okay. So then I told Haley about, you know, what had happened the previous night. I was like, oh gosh, this is crazy. But yeah, that was that. And then, oh god, then Thursday happens. Honestly, I'm so relieved that I had a day off. I am really relieved that I had a day off the next day, because honestly, if that had been crazy on the Friday, I don't think I could have survived it. And I mean, Thursday was like the craziest day of the lot. So, yeah, I had a colleague tell me about an ID dispute that they'd had to deal with. And basically, you know, they challenged for ID, and the parent had said, oh, I'd understand if this was Nazi Germany and you needed identification. What? I mean, seriously, what has Nazi Germany got to do with that and ID? Can someone explain it? I mean, yeah, I know you had to have, like, identification papers and stuff, but, like, you know, we're just asking for ID. Yes, it's the law that they have to have ID to see the film, but there's no comparison to Nazi Germany there. So, yeah, then, so, yeah, I basically, Thursday evening, I run around like a headless chicken. So, it's probably been about 2 hours at this point that I've been there. And we have not one, but 2 projectors go down. One during a film, one while the film is playing. So obviously that's a bit like, okay, we've got to try and get that on. And then there's another film. Thankfully it hadn't started yet, but yeah, the projector in the third screen, so we have 10 screens. So there was a projector in screen, the projector in screen 2 cut off mid-film. We don't know why. Just decided to stop, and they had to do a complete reboot, which took about half an hour ish. Yeah, we did give people like refunds and comp tickets to come and you know, see it another day for those that didn't want to wait. There was quite a young family actually, not in the very front row, but they were like near the front, so obviously that they could get away quickly, and if the kids needed to go to the toilet. And sort of when I was told about the option for the comp tickets, I just said to them, you know, this isn't being made, you know, public knowledge to the screen, but if you guys, you know, if you guys don't want to wait, we are offering, you know, a refund and comp tickets to come back another day. And they were like, oh, thank you, that's really kind of you. They did eventually come out, because it did take a really long time. Like I said, it probably took about half an hour. But for me, like, you know, having to run around, do screen announcements, it felt like forever. So I had to do an announcement in screen 3 saying, yeah, we're just going to cut the trailers and go straight to the film. So yeah, that's what happened in screen 3. But yeah, I can't remember the last time a projector decided to cut out mid-film. It very rarely happens, but yeah, we had to do a complete like reboot, which, yeah, so that was fun. So it's like, when they have to do a complete reboot, what has to happen is We have to turn it off. That takes about 5 minutes. Then it has to cool off for 10 minutes. And then they have to get it all up and running, which usually takes about 10 minutes. But because of everything that was going on, you know, at first they hoped that they wouldn't have to turn the projector completely off, that they could just, like, you know, go and play it from the bit that it had stopped at. But yeah, no, the projector wasn't having that, so basically they had to go through all that hell of having to restart it. But I think all the customers probably got very bored of me. Yeah, no. But most of them took it very well, and yeah, I get people were annoyed, but you know, it was obviously, I don't know what happened, but yeah. We did eventually get the film back on track. It came out, I think it was about, I'm trying to think what time it came out at. Because it was supposed to finish at 10:30. I think it came out about 11ish, 11 o'clock. I think it did anyway. That's what I want to say. But I honestly, I can't remember. No, it was meant to come out at about 10 o'clock. Sorry. And yeah, it came out about 10:30 actually, because it was about 20 minutes late coming out. So yeah, that happened, and yeah, I got a little thank you card saying that my running around like a headless maniac had not gone unnoticed, because I kid you not, I was running around like an idiot. I was trying to do screen checks, I was trying to clean screens, I was effectively like doing everything, because there were like, I think there were about 2 of us, might have been 3, but I think when all the crazy was going on, I think someone was on their break, so it was like, I was like, ah! But yeah, it was basically, that was fun. But yeah, so yeah, and then it's like I'm doing the sweets. I had to go through 10 packs of Sour Patch. No, not 10 packs. I had to go through 5 boxes, because there are 10 packs in each box. But oh my gosh, it was crazy. I was just like, oh god. Okay. And bear in mind, I'm doing the sweets. I don't say this out loud, but I think it. Honestly, the shift can't get any worse. This can't get any worse. Me and my bloody thoughts. And I mean it, me and my thoughts. Because, I kid you not, 5 seconds later, a woman comes around the corner and she said, is there a first aider around? I'm like, oh yeah, that's my team leader. What's happened? And she was like, my friend's in screen 9. She's feeling sick. I was like, oh god. In the back of my mind, I'm like, oh god, are you bloody serious? And one of my team leaders is coming around the corner. I'm like, yeah, Savannah, you're kind of needed. And I explained to her, you know, what's happened. I've got a customer, pardon, in a screen that's feeling unwell. So she goes to deal with that. A couple of minutes later, she radios us and goes, can one of you two wait for an ambulance? So yeah, we had to call paramedics. That was, oh my gosh, it was mad. It was honestly mad. I was like, are you bloody serious? So yeah, about 10 minutes later, the paramedics arrive. Yeah, and oh my gosh, it was just crazy. So yeah, we finish up, well, it was probably about 10 past 11, I want to say, by the time we got out. And they were like, yeah, don't worry about screen 9, we'll do a screen 9. which was very nice of the team leaders, you know. That was really nice. So yeah, I'm like, I clock out, I get dressed, and I'm like, oh, I just want to go home and go to bed and just sleep. Honestly, why can't life be that simple? Because I go there, I get to the roundabout, and they've closed the dual carriageway, which I would normally go straight ahead on. They've closed so on the roundabout where I'd normally go straight ahead to go down the dual carriageway, they've closed the dual carriageway on that side so they could do road markings. Now, bear in mind, when I'd gone up that way, they had not, and I kid you not, they had not said anything saying that they were going to be closing the road late at night. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So I had to go the long and winding way home. Which, you know, I was just like, I'm so tired. I just want to go to bed. Is that so much to ask? So, yeah. I can't remember what time I got home. I think it was like 20 to 12 or something, because of all the crazy that had been going on. And oh gosh, like honestly, it was insane. It was actually insane. So I've got a few more stories, and these are actually this week. So yeah. So I've said before, I do drama, I do acting, and I had an audition last Friday, and I've got a part in a short play. It's going to be like a mixture of play of shorts put together to make a big one, and I'm doing that in October. But yeah, the next day I basically got an email from the person that's directing oh, what's it called? That's directing the play that I'm in, and said, yeah, the person that's doing the November production, the person that they cast for the daughter, she's broken her leg. Would you be interested? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So yeah, I went to meet him today, and he was really nice. The play is called A Bunch of Amateurs. There was a film done of it a little while ago. So yeah, I am doing that. I think, yeah, after I've done these two plays with this company, I did used to be part of a company in Chichester called Chichester Players, which I mentioned in the past. And yeah, they basically had to close. So now I'm like, right, okay. I'm kind of like shopping about. But when I went to the audition for the shorts, there was just something just felt off. Like, it felt like half of the people that were there in that audition did not want to be there. So, yeah, basically, after I've done these two plays with this company, I am going to shop about a bit and see see sort of, you know, other places, see if I find a place that after Chichester I click with, because, you know, that's the thing, I have to click with a place. And when I feel like that there's something that's slightly off, it kind of makes me think, okay, this isn't the place for you. And I don't know what it was. I really don't know what it was. Just something. Just something felt off, and like I say, I don't know what. Maybe it's just something that I needed to get used to. Maybe it will be fine there, but it's just from what I experienced, it just, unfortunately, I can't see myself staying with that group, sadly. So yeah, that was sort of end of last week, this week. So, oh my god. So work this week, and honestly, the only thing I've got is just work this week. It's honestly, it's not that interesting. Next week might be more interesting if I actually get to do a WIP and Chat. If not, then yeah, let's just say you know why. It's because I've been looking after a baby and been trying to do everything at once, effectively. So yeah, I was in, okay, so this first one, when did this happen? Happened on I think, yeah, it was Sunday. So Sunday, I had to open, and I was on the ice cream stand. Now, the person that was covering me, or was going to be covering me when I left at 5, he walked in the door just as his shift was about to start. Now, this person has been kind of sort of strolling in through the door every day this week, just like, you know, like just as his shift's starting or just as his shift is about to start, etc, etc. And he's been doing that all week, and I was like, well, I kind of don't want to stay if, you know, for this guy, you know, that if, you know, it's just going to be constantly late. I kind of don't want to stay. And I'd been tired, and I was tired as well. I was like, I just didn't want to, what happened? Oh yeah, I closed last night, so I was really tired and just kind of wanted to like go home and flop. So yeah, that was what that was. Sorry, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I kind of can't get the bottom of the angle to the very bottom of this piece. But yeah, I've nearly finished this first line, which is good. Next week I might be working on something else because it is the start of drills and chills next week. So yeah, but I will have this like on the side, so don't worry, you will see it more. But no, it was basically so he came in, and there were customers, they were actually trying to decide what they wanted. So I clocked out, and then I realised, oh gosh, I've lost my bottle. I've forgot my water bottle, and it's behind Baskins. And because I clocked out, you know, I couldn't get it. And, you know, I know what it's like, sort of about 5 a.m, not 5 a.m, 5 p.m. even, trying to get out of Chichester is a nightmare. It really is. It really is a nightmare. So, yeah, it's, as I said, oh, I forgot my bottle, and she was like, oh, my team leader said, oh, in future, can you, like, wait until your person comes in? Because, yeah, there are customers, and it was, like, you know, the fact is that they were still deciding when I left, you know, that's kind of not really, like, my issue, in a way. But it's, when we came back, we got a thing saying in our work handbook, saying do not stay unless you are asked to by a team leader past your allotted time. Now, I don't know whether that's still in play, but that's what I was going off. I was going off of the, yeah, basically leave at your allotted time. So So yeah, I don't know what was going on with that. But yeah, no, I mean, I can understand where my team leader was coming from, but like I say, I just really didn't want to stay, because, you know, traffic would be bad, and, oh gosh, I kid you not, it's just, ugh. And then, the next day, no, not the next day, because I was riding. I was covering a break, I think. Yeah, I was covering a break. And there was a person who comes up and he's like, yeah, I would like a 3 scoop tub. Not 3 scoop, 2 scoop. And now, bear in mind, it's the end of the chocolate. And he wanted chocolate as one of his flavours. Give it to him, and he was like, is that frozen enough? I was like, yes. And he said, because it was kind of like, so where it had been out of the cabinet for about probably 2 minutes, the bucket, you know, it had obviously melted a bit. And he was like, and I was like, well, no, it is fine to eat. And he said, well, I don't exactly want to give my daughter that. You know, I said, you know, I told him the ice cream's perfectly edible. It's not, no. So basically, he said, well, I don't want to give my daughter that. Can you, like, do it again? So I was like, okay. So I basically had to waste off a 2 scoop tub of, 2 scoop cup even, of a perfectly good ice cream, which annoyed me a bit, because I was like, there was no need for it. It's like, you know, the thing is, if it was any more frozen, like I said, the customer thought that the ice cream wasn't frozen enough for him. Honestly, I wanted to turn around and say to that customer, if that ice cream was any more frozen, it would be ice. But obviously, I can't say that. I just have to smile sweetly and want to shoot you in my brain. Yeah, I was a little bit annoyed. It's like, I did feel quite annoyed after, and let's just say a lot of my team members saw that I was quite mad. And it's like, when I get mad like that, because I actually, like, I punched my hand really hard after the guy had gone, because I was bad. And it's kind of, I said to them, when things like that happen, people wonder why I have borderline personality disorder. And yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, next week I will probably be doing something. I will possibly be starting something else, just because it is the start of Jaws and Chills. If you do not know what Jaws and Chills is, Jaws and Chills is a 2-month-long, diamond paint and stitch along. So you can do anything that's autumnal themed, or anything that's like Halloween themed. And you get 2 months. So yeah, from the 1st of September to the 31st of October is when Jaws and Chills is on. So yeah, it's usually run on Instagram. So yeah, I'll have to look and try and find a form, and they've probably got a Facebook group as well. But yeah, as you can see, I've got a really nice tinge of sort of a purpley pink that's coming through on my pan, which is nice. But yeah, anyway, I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do for Drills and Chills, but I'm not gonna spoil it until the 1st. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please hit that like button, consider commenting, and possibly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And also hit the bell to be notified when I put up a video. Usually I put up at least 1 video a week. But yeah, there will probably be about 2 videos. There will probably be about 2 videos this week, possibly even 3, because I still need to do my Dragalings along, so my Flight the Fireflies post review. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye!